Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Joe Palmer on the Metalhead here. Hope you're going well. Day number 18 in Vlogust. And I believe we'll be over and done with August in less than 2 weeks' time. So, 31-day challenge, getting ready. I'm going to get a couple of vlogs done, hopefully before I leave for Birmingham on Monday and Tuesday, because I won't have internet access. And as a matter of fact, I can't even download YouTube on my iPhone 6. That's how old I'm using with technology. Yeah, so I want to talk about some countries that I don't have much of a desire to want to go back to. Normally, it takes me an average of 5 years to return to a country after I visited it for a short period of time. 2015 I went to Serbia for 2 days, and then all of a sudden I came back 5 years later and spent 3 weeks there. Or how I went to Romania in 2013 and took me another 5 years to get back to Romania to get to Yas. But then I didn't get back to Bucharest until this year, and that was 10 years after my first trip to Romania. There's always a reason why I don't tend to revisit countries that I've already been to. It's mainly because these days within Europe, right? I've been to every country in Europe, but the only countries I'd really like to revisit would be Slovenia and Finland, because I haven't seen much of either one of those, but I've been there. I went to America 13 years ago, and I haven't gone back there. I also haven't gone back to Canada in 13 years. It's just, with America's visa thing, I don't want to spend 160 quid to get a B2 visa. And, I have to be honest, with my trip to Iran from 2012 and other trips to other ridiculous, stupidly countries America doesn't like. But, yeah, I don't have much motivation to want to get back to America, even though I do have some friends I do follow on the internet. But it's just the term, some countries will have the right to tell you to bug off without a reason, even if you're a good person or not. So, it just doesn't seem like that I will be going back to America anytime soon, and I'd like to swear that I won't go back to America until I'm at least 50, or maybe 60, depending how long I live. I haven't gone back to Canada in 13 years, but I do want to go back there just to visit Montreal, and I've got some new friends in Nova Scotia, so that could be quite good. There's always some interesting parts of Canada that I haven't been to that I'd like to go, or maybe Vancouver, Ottawa, as I said, Nova Scotia. Hell, I'd go to Newfoundland, because there's a lot of history in that little piece of land there. Okay, I wouldn't want to go back to Belize, because I went there for a day, and it was really expensive. And there's so many taxes you have to pay just to get out of the country. Just the same thing paying the damn tourist tax to leave Mexico. Just so horrible. I got double charged because I was crossing the border. Then I came back to Mexico and I flew out. I had to pay another 50 quid to leave Mexico a couple of years ago. So literally, I don't say to people don't go to Belize, but I'm Belize costs a bit more than Mexico and Guatemala, so do keep that in mind when you go there. I wouldn't want to go back to French Guyana. I went there a couple of times on my 2-week trip. I didn't really like going there, even though it gave me a cheap way to go from Europe to France. Europe to South America, but literally because French Guyana is a French colony, everything's imported from mainland France, some things are grown there, things are just so expensive over there, but it's a good place to go if you want to launch into Suriname and the other Guyanas, or Brazil. I remember telling this guy who was serving me at Johannesburg Airport that I won't go back for another 5 years. I wouldn't really say that I won't get back to South Africa for 5 years. I would like to go back to Cape Town as soon as I can. and I definitely want to get to Mozambique someday, but I won't really do it this year or like next year. It'll, but like literally, I would hope that the next time I go to South Africa, the trains will be running, because since the pandemic, the trains have all been screwed up. Yes. It's been a long time since I was in Morocco, like 12 years, and I definitely want to go back there. But when we're talking about countries that I don't have the desire to go back to, I'm talking about, well, the UAE. I haven't gone back there for 10 years. I've never spent more than a day in the UAE. If I want to go back to the UAE, I just basically be transiting in Sharjah or Abu Dhabi airport, because Wizz Air now flies to Abu Dhabi. But like, when I went there 10 years ago in June, I know that was the peak of summer. It's just so extreme hot. I wouldn't want to be traveling for like a few days, like from Dubai to Muscat, for the sake of adding like a new country. It's just really, I can't stand really hot countries. I mean, that's why I'd rather go to Central Asia in October than now, because now it's too hot. Um, uh, I haven't been back to Iran in 11 years, but I do have a desire to go back, but it all depends on what passport I use, and yeah, because it's really problematic to go to Iran if you're British, but it's not problematic if you're Australian. But I don't use my Australian passport that often. I haven't gone back to New Zealand in 12 years this year, yeah. Just personal reasons. I only went to New Zealand for family reunions with my mum's family, and then I got really sick and tired of going them. I vowed never to go to them for many years. But I do plan on going back to New Zealand in a couple of years' time, because one of my cousins is turning 60. And then all my aunts are all getting old, and one of my aunts in New Zealand is on death's door, so God bless his soul. I don't have the desire to go back to Papua New Guinea because it's so damn expensive and problematic to get to, but I'm really glad I went there in the first place. I've never wanted to go back to Indonesia, but I did go back just to get to Jakarta. Timor Leste, I went once just for the sake of going there, and no matter what I've done for Timor in all my life by helping them out, there's no way I'd want to go back there just to revisit. It's been 9 years. I don't think much has changed in 9 years. Um, well, I went to a whole lot of Southeast Asian countries about 7 years ago, and I haven't gone back since. And the reason why I don't go back to Southeast Asia is because there's too many tourists and all. When I went to Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan the following year, there was hardly any tourists in those countries. Even though I met a guy in my hostel from Australia, which was quite surprisingly. But you couldn't pay me to go to, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, or Thailand again. I haven't been back to, Malaysia and Singapore in years, so I don't really see myself wanting to go back. It's been 11 years since I last went to India, and I know I say a lot of negative things about India and Indian culture and people, but on the other hand, I would like to go to Pakistan because literally, there's a Punjab culture on that side of the border. There's Sikh temples, there's Zoroastrian temples, there's churches, there's Jewish cemeteries in Karachi, all that stuff to visit on the other side of, the line of control. But I don't want to play politics and games, but yeah. So I do hope one day that I could go to Pakistan with one of my friends who knows the area quite well, or I may cross paths with a British Pakistani person who could help me out on my trip in the not so foreseeable future. I haven't gone back to Turkey in 10 years, and I got no desire. I'm no thanks. I really don't want to go. But that's just politics and all. I mean, I've always said to people, if you can't respect the government in charge of the country you're visiting, then seriously don't go there. There are a lot of people out there who would criticize me for wanting to go to a country that is full of dictators or full of martial law or one-party states. And I'm like, well, stuff you, there are those types of people hanging around in my backyard, so it makes me no difference. Um, I went to, as I said, I was in Guyana a couple of years ago, but I think I'd wait a few more years to go back there because the only one thing I like to do in Guyana is to drive from Georgetown all the way to the border of Brazil, and also go to Catuai Falls and see little yellow tree frogs hiding in the plants. Um, yeah, so I'm not a person who really has a desire to like revisit most of the 96 countries that I've been to. I'm just playing catch up on a lot of my friends who have been to far more countries than I've been to. But then again, I am kind of grateful I am the most traveled person in my family. Anyway, Martin the Metalhead, over and out.